And welcome back into the Bettor Half Hour, my favorite segment where we bring you veterans in the sports betting space to chop it up with me. You've seen him on this show. He was in studio just last week. You've seen him on the Betting Exchange. My guy out of sunny Southern California, Arash Markazi. Arash, great to see you, my friend.
Good to be back with you. Unfortunately, not in studio, but yes, I am back.
It's not the same, but the hair is just as strong either way. I'm loving the Benedict slick back. Okay, let's get into a prop bet. I want to start out with your thoughts on these two star-studded quarterbacks. The over-under on passing yards for them are both between 275 and 280. Who do you have more faith in going over that, Stafford or Burrow?
I love Matthew Stafford in this spot, and I'm really surprised that that number is so low. Again, you have to look at the fact that he had 337 yards, 2 touchdowns against San Francisco, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns against Tampa Bay. I think he's going to have a big game. Again, normally you're nervous going into the Super Bowl, but Alex, it's their home stadium. He's back at SoFi.
All right, Rosh, I hear you. But here's the thing. Let's factor in what Joe Burrow has had to deal with weather-wise in this playoffs, as opposed to Stafford had a cushy 2 of the 3 in SoFi, no weather, and he had a Tampa sunny, nice day down in Florida. I'm thinking that Burrow, who put up over 420 and 500 in his last 2 weeks, has a chance to go berserk. There's also an element to this game where the Rams could get out as a more comfortable team to an early start, thus allowing Burrow to have to come back, i.e. passing the ball, not running the ball, because this front seven is very difficult to run on.
Well, here's the thing. Cincinnati's offensive line is still not that great, and that's a compliment. I mean, they're actually really, really bad. And so I'm amazed. Joe Burrow, this is how great this guy is, that they're in this Super Bowl, despite the fact that the offensive line is so bad, and they have never seen a pass rush like the Los Angeles Rams. You're talking about Darren Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. Listen, this is going to be a tough day for one Joe Burrow.
I hear you. I'm going to throw on the shades, the mink, and root for Joey B, baby. Hey, they could both go over, though. I'm not against a little old-school shootout in the Super Bowl and having us both eat.
I agree.
All right, let's shift.
I would love that.
We all would. Let's shift to your L.A. Lakers. And right now they're dealing with a LeBron James nagging knee injury. Looks like he's going to be out for an extended period of time. They get AD back. They're sitting right now around 9th. Do you think they could sneak into the top 6 and avoid this play-in tournament by the time the playoffs come?
No, they are lucky that they are in this play-in tournament right now. I mean, my crazy stat about this team, yes, they are 24-27. They are 5-1 when it goes to overtime. So, I mean, they found a way to win a couple of games there that I didn't think that they should have. Here's the thing. This is not a very good team, and I wished I had hoped that they would have a turning point in this season. It's not even about health. When the big three have been healthy, when they have played together, they are 9-7. No matter how you cut it, this is a 500 team. They're in the play-in tournament. I don't see, even if they win that, I don't see how they get out of the first round. I certainly don't see them going from 9 to 6. Unfortunately, this is a lost season.
Erroneous, Arash. I'm sorry. I am not selling my Lakers stock yet. You know how the NBA goes. There's egos, there's new roles, there's games they need chemistry to build. This team, to your point, has not had many games together. I think we saw a little bit of a bright spot with Russ against the Hawks just a couple days ago. And I think with AD back, I think this Russ-AD chemistry is underrated. And if they can find a way to bond with LeBron out, again, this is where my LA Laker fandom comes in here as a Southern California kid. I can't sell the stock. I just have a hard time believing that a team with 5 Hall of Famers, more than likely, is just not going to be able to get in the top 6. I'm going to bank on a couple of these teams like the Jazz, maybe even the Nuggets, just cooling down, and maybe they sneak into the 6th spot.
From your lips to God's ears. I really hope it happens. I don't think so. I mean, I've seen them play some really bad basketball. And again, when they've been healthy, Alex, they are 9-7. So they're slightly above 500, but like they did not set the world on fire when they were healthy. I mean, unfortunately, this reminds me of the Kobe, Dwight, Steve Nash, Pau Gasol. Great names on paper, great team, but they just did not fit, did not gel.
But, Ross, if they find a way to get back to last year's team or even the first year Vogel got into town and play D, if they start to play D, yes, can you buy in?
No, here's the thing, Alex. They took a sledgehammer to that team. I mean, it is so rare to have a team that was together as that group that won a championship in 2020, and they packaged Kyle Kuzma and KCP and Montrezl Harrell for Russell Westbrook, and I wanted it to work. I mean, the prodigal son returns home. How great would that story have been? It just doesn't work. It doesn't fit. And there are glimpses, and I feel you. There are moments where you're like, oh, okay, maybe. When I was in Brooklyn, that was the highlight of the season. I was like, that's as good as this team has looked all year. Unfortunately, Alex, I've seen them play enough games at this point to say they're just not a good team. Again, they'll be in the play-in tournament. Maybe they win that game. Maybe they're in the first round, but I don't have that confidence right now.
All right, well, the glimmer of hope that could still happen because the trade deadline isn't here yet, Arash, is they might be able, in a perfect world, to move Russell Westbrook. We're hearing Bradley Beal might be on the trading block. Is there a world? Can we go a little Beal for Russ with a couple pieces from LA? Could it happen? And do you, with your sources, think that it might happen before the deadline?
I hope there is a world where that happens. I don't think it's the real world. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think the fact of the matter is that Russell's making $44 million this year, and he will be making $47 million next season. And I think the way that he's played this season, there's no team out there that wants him. Maybe next season at some point he's in a contract year. You know, perhaps they could part ways with them. This trade has been a disaster for the Lakers. I respect the fact that they brought him the star. They swung for the fences. They want to move him. There's just no pathway towards that happening. And I've been told that, I mean, listen, we've been surprised before, would be shocked if they can move him. And I don't think that they can.
All right, real quick, I want to throw this to you before we go. What's one thing that people are overlooking at SoFi Stadium in regards to this Super Bowl?
Well, if you're going to the game, the food is really bad. It's probably the worst food of any stadium in the National Football League, and I hate to say that there's a lot of good food options in Los Angeles. So if you're going to the game, eat before the game, eat once the game is over. The cool thing, by the way, the other thing, the Rams are not the home team. Technically, the National Football League has deemed the Cincinnati Bengals are the home team at SoFi Stadium for Super Bowl Sunday.
I saw that. Bengals on the bottom of the box score. I love it, Arash. We will eat before we go in the stadium, just like our grandparents did when they took us to a ball game. Appreciate you joining me, as always. When I return, guess what? We're talking golf, people. Don't go anywhere on the Bettor Half Hour.